Now turning to infant formula, which has been in the news recently as Chinese demand for the product just keeps on increasing. Up first is John Pennell, CEO of Synlait Milk, a large New Zealand dairy processing company.
Pennell talks about the reasons behind the recent infant formula price rise.
Well, look, I think there's probably two things going on. One's a long-term effect of Chinese people demanding more and more product from overseas, product that they believe is safe. And so for infant formula in particular, they want to use imported product. The market's swung over the last 5 years. 5 years ago, pre-melamine, 70% of the infant formula market was domestically produced. Today, 70% is imported.
And he says the recent price spike has been partly caused by a severe drought in New Zealand. But whether local brands can recapture lost market share right now, he's unsure of. Long term, though, it's somewhat of a certainty.
Over time, I would imagine that the domestic brands and domestically produced product under the larger brands will regain some of that share. There's no question that will go on. The market continues to grow very strongly. It grows domestically. The market's growing about 20% by value and about 10% by volume year on year. So it's a strong growth market.
Synlait has distribution partners in China and says there's local brands that are trusted.
There's a number of dairy companies in China with very good brand awareness, with very good, they do have high levels of trust on those brands from their consumers because they've been providing, yogurts, fresh milks, and their household names, and they have very good distribution channels. And so we can't hope to provide that from New Zealand. What we can provide is this great high quality product.
And talking about the problems of product being bought from supermarkets in foreign countries and sent in, he says,
well, look, there's been a lot of product coming into China through the grey channel, if you like. So people buying it in overseas supermarkets and selling it online and then sending it in. And some of this has got very well organised. Containers of products coming to distribution centres that are then distributed through the Chinese market. Now, most of those products are legitimate. Most of them are good brands from overseas that are coming in, maybe through illegitimate channels, but it's good product. But it does open up the possibility of adulterated product.
Selling foreign infant formula in China may be a lucrative business for some, but still there's worry about adulteration of foreign brands. A recent case of a Chinese distributor of European food conglomerate Hero Group caused a minor scandal earlier this month. Reports claim that it mixed out-of-date formula with supplies imported under its partnership agreement with Hero, and Hero subsequently apologized. And as CNC discovered at the recent Mother and Baby Expo in Beijing, Chinese parents are aware of the problem.
Vincent Dye, an account manager at Hainan Airlines, gets his friend to buy infant formula from supermarkets in Australia. Dye thinks that this is the best option for his son because he doesn't have confidence that product advertised as foreign in Chinese supermarkets is actually this.
Yeah, truly. That's why I asked my friends post them from the OZ.
Okay.
Post to me. I like in here in the expedition. Maybe some's good, some maybe it's not true. It's from like Swiss, the first Swiss brand.
Yeah.
I don't know this brand, but he said it's the first from Switzerland. But we can't. We are the comments. We just the common consumer. We don't know it's true or not. So I can't make taste from my son.
5 years ago, before the melamine scandal rocked the industry, most infant formula consumed in China was produced domestically. Now most comes from overseas as an overwhelming number of Chinese prefer to feed their babies on foreign milk powder. That's opened opportunities for businessmen looking to make money from importing New Zealand milk powder.
I think most of our customers here in China prefer the foreign brand. It's not local brand. What they have been doing this for since the scandal a couple of years ago, that kind of scandal. So for our Chinese customer, we have to do this. We don't have other options for this. But what we're going to do is bring out of the good stuff from overseas here to here to make our market, to rebuild our confidence.
though some Chinese parents still have confidence in the domestic brands.
Actually, the milk powder of big domestic brands also possesses the international level quality, and their ingredients are more suitable for Chinese babies. I believe it is a safe choice to buy domestic milk powder.
Beijing Sanyuan Foods believes its product is better suited to the nutritional needs of Chinese babies.
Compared with the foreign brands of milk powder, Sanyuan has advantages in several aspects. First and foremost, the ingredients of Sanyuan milk powder are more suitable for Chinese babies.
Wu Songhang says foreign milk powder cannot always be as easily absorbed by Chinese babies as domestically produced product. But even though many Chinese might agree with this, most still don't trust the local product.
I buy domestic milk powder mainly because it is cheaper, but more and more quality problems come forth, and I'm afraid about babies' health if I continue to buy the domestic milk powder.
But it's becoming more difficult for them to get infant formula through the so-called grey channel. Government curbs on milk sales in Hong Kong, where shelves are regularly cleared out over Chinese New Year by visiting mainlanders, were introduced in February. And earlier this month, restrictions were introduced in the United Kingdom, with supermarkets rationing buyers to 2 cans of infant formula at a time.
From the output angle, rationing may not have a significant impact on the Chinese market, but the following up and the discussion on the issue do have a deep impact on people's mind. So I think from this point of view, rationing is not a good sign for the local brands. But on the other hand, it can be positive as the domestic brands begin to realize that they really need to take the responsibility. If before we don't have such a strict system, then from now on, we must produce infant formula under the most rigorous standards.
Sanyuan is seeking to become more transparent to entice consumers back to its products. Wu Songhang, General Manager of Sanyuan's milk powder division, says domestic consumers are worried about the quality of milk powder because production processes are not transparent.
Actually, we welcome consumers to our plants and we will lead them to the work sites, watching the whole process of the milk powder production. Only by doing this way could consumers definitely believe in the quality of milk powder.
Also, there's a belief that more regulations are needed.
Currently, I think for our government to stronger our regulations of some kind of rules to make the business rules for all the milk product system. That's the most important part that I want to mention for our local products, for especially infant formula.
And there's also calls for more regulations on foreign infant formula after the recent scandal. Whatever happens, Chinese demand for high-quality infant formula looks set to continue. But whether local brands can recapture lost market share is yet to be seen.